Okay, so we are going to continue to the ergonomic factors required to get and to achieve an effective office ambience. Okay, previously in chapter 5 part 3 we have discussed about the lighting and also the colors. So today we are going to continue to the next one, which is the noise control. Okay, so what is decibel? Decibel is a unit measure of sound and is the smallest change in sound detectable by the human ear. Okay, so this is our what we call capability as a human. Compared to the animal, that has very what we call the smallest change as sound detectable by the animals. Okay, so in office, the maximum level in decibel in office is should be only 90. Okay. Now we take a look on this one. This is an example of the noise thermometer to measure the decibel. So if you are staying or visiting the wood, the decibel is between 15. Okay. And when you are sleeping, okay, maybe because of the noise of maybe the fan or the air conditioning, okay, so the decibel is maybe around 25. But when you are talking to your friend in the office or everything, or in business situation, okay, so the decibel is between 60 to 70. Okay, so that's why the maximum decibel in an office should be 19. Okay, you can see this one, jackhammer used to maybe making a hole or to broke cement everything. Okay, so the decibel for this one is quite high, which is 110. But again, the highest one is the jet engine, especially the airplane, which is the 140 decibel. Okay, so this example of the what we call the acoustic or noise control in the office. Okay, so that's why we need to make sure that we do not have a very what we call noise control, because it will affect the people around you. Okay. Okay, so how we are going to control the noise? So there are four ways for you to control the noise. The first one is a proper construction. The second one, we are using the sound absorbing materials. The third one, we are using the sound absorbing device. And lastly is the masking technique. So we are going to take a look on how we are going to control the noise. Okay, so the first one, proper construction. Okay, noise can be controlled by using effective building construction techniques. So the following techniques can eliminate undesirable structural sound. So how? The first one, you need to attach a network of a feeder duct to the main duct in the heating or cooling system. Number 2, you use windows and doors the seal properly. And the third one is you build that A space into the structural features. Number 4, you need to use the construction material to prohibit. And lastly is the vibration noises from you only have 4 because the second one is you use the construction material that prohibit vibration noises from occurring. Again, the technique is only 4, not 5. Okay. Okay, so you do not need to explain this one but when you have a question for asking you the technique can eliminate undesirable structural sound, just list down these 4. Okay, so the next one is a sound absorbing material. So it's two different things actually, sound absorbing material and sound absorbing devices. Okay, so how we are going to use the sound absorbing materials? So you need to include proper use of ceiling or floor, wall and window covering material. So the most efficient sound absorbing floor covering is, yes, the carpet. Okay, you are familiar with the carpet because actually the carpet is one of the material that can be used to absorb the sound. Okay, so material used for noise control should possess 3 characteristics or 3 qualities. The first one is absorption. How it absorbs, how much. Okay, the second one, the ability of the material to reflection. Number 3 is the isolation. So let's go one by one. The first one is absorption. Okay, the degree to which noise is absorbed within the material. Okay, for example, we are using the carpet, so how much the carpet can absorb the noise. Okay, number 2 is a reflection, the degree to which sound is not absorbed by various material but rather it's sent back into the space. So I don't think that the carpet will reflect back, but the carpet is more to the absorb. Okay, and lastly is isolation. So the degree to which material prevents sounds from passing through them. Okay, in other words, we call it as a barrier, so that the sound will not pass through them. Okay, so these are the 3 characteristics or 3 qualities of material used to noise control. Now we are proceeding to the third one is sound absorbing devices. Before this, we are discussing about sound absorbing material. So we need to include putting covers on equipment that creates considerable noise. Can be placed under certain kind of office machine, for example typewriter. So when we are using the typewriter, when the typewriter is making a lot of sound, we can use something under the typewriter. That's for example. Or your washing machine, for example. This is not at the office, but this is an example. Okay, you can use the cover to make the noise more reduced. Okay, so next one, lastly, is the masking technique. So what is the masking technique? Masking technique is involve blending office noise with low level non-disturbing background sound. Okay, also known as white noise. Okay, so the masking technique also known as white noise. So the public address system are frequently used to transmit masking sound throughout the work areas. Okay, this is the last part is what we call masking technique or white noise. Okay, now we are going to proceed to number 4, the ergonomic factors number 4, which is conditioning the air. So you need to consider there are 4 consideration of conditioning the air. The first one is the air temperature, the humidity level, the circulation of the air, the cleanliness of the air. Okay, so the first one is air temperature is ideal for working temperature is 68 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, or for us we are using around 24 degree Celsius. Okay, so for the humidity level is optimum is 50%, and then the circulation of the air, you need to have adequate exchange rate is around 25 cubic feet of air per minute per person. And lastly is the cleanliness of the air. Okay, you need to involve installing air purification systems. Why? That remove germs, dust and dirt. That's why some of the air conditioning they have additional features such as to purify the air, to kill the germs, dust and dirt. Okay, this is the last part. Okay, so next one is music. So the number 5, the economic factors. Number 5 is the music. Okay, what are the benefits of the music? Of course, it will help increase job satisfaction and productivity. However, it depends to the type of music that you have chosen, because if the music is too loud, it will not increase your job satisfaction or also will not improve your productivity. Okay, and then the music will help you reduce boredom and also monotony. And number 3, when you have a music, it will help you relieve mental and physical fatigue. So you as a human being, when you are bored, yes, sometimes you are listening to music to help you relieve your mental and physical fatigue, because when we are too tired, okay, yes, listening to the music will help you to do this. Okay, and then the music also help you reduce nervous tension and also strain. Yes, I do believe you as a student, sometimes you are facing the what we call stress with your study, so you can use the music to help you reduce your nervous tension, strain, and also help you reduce your boredom. Okay, next one, number 6 is the conservation of energy. How you are going to conserve the energy? So one of the realities of life is the growing need to conserve energy. So the development of a proper attitude toward energy conservation has to start at the top of organizational management. So that's why for any organization, they need to implement the energy conservation program. So what is energy conservation program? So, the energy conservation program is actually have three components. The first one is energy conservation committee. The second one is energy efficiency study. The third one is the conservation goal. Okay. So, the first part, energy conservation committee. This one is also known as a green office committee. So the members of this committee, they are expertise in energy conservation, oversee the total energy program. So what are the activities? The activities include undertaking the energy efficiency study and formulating goals. So most of the members, they provide a valuable public relations function. And to perform effectively, this committee, the Committee of Green Office Committee, they must have the authority to ensure the compliance with its recommendation. So this is the first component of energy conservation program. Okay, so we are going to proceed to the second one. The second component is energy efficiency study. Okay, so for this one, before a conservation plan can be devised, an energy conservation study of the facility must be undertaken. So the purpose of this study is to identify areas where excessive energy is being used. For example, when you take a look on the utility bills, you can take a look that there's a high or excessive energy use at the certain department. Okay, so you need to take a look at the area and discuss why this area use excessive energy compared to another department in your organization. This is an example only. Okay, so the result can provide basis for the development of conservation goals. And lastly, the conservation goal. So once the energy efficiency study has been completed, you need to have the conservation goals are developed. So a periodic follow-up should be undertaken to determine the amount of progress toward the reaching of that goal. So these are the three components of energy conservation program. Oops, okay. Okay. The next one. Okay, so now we are going to proceed to the next one, which are the techniques for you to conserve the energy. The first one, what are the techniques we are going to use to conserve the energy, especially for the lighting system? Okay, so the first one, the suggestion outline energy conservation technique for lighting system is you need to use the appropriate amount of light, okay, for the task being performed. Now, next one is you need to develop practice of turning off light when not needed. So when we do not use atau we have completed our work, please make sure you switch off the light or turn off the light. Okay, and then you use task lighting that this use less energy. Okay, we have learned about task lighting before because it consumes less weightage compared to other type of lighting. Okay, consider installing automatic light control system. Yes, when we are using automatic light control system, when people are moving or when the light system detect someone there, the system will automatically switch on. But when nobody in the office, it will automatically switch off. Okay, and then you need to clean bulbs and tubes regularly. You need to use the color that reflect more light throughout the office. Next one, what we are going to do is you reduce outside lighting except where needed for safety and security. Okay, the next one, okay, we need to replace aging fluorescent and light bulbs that no longer provide lighting efficiency. So when your fluorescent lamp is not as light as before, as bright as before, you need to change the fluorescent light bulbs. Okay. And then lastly is you need to engage the service of local utility company to conduct an energy audit, the purpose of which is to determine where additional saving from the lighting system can be attained. So these are the suggestions outline energy conservation technique for lighting system. So next one, we are going to proceed to the next technique. Okay, this one are the technique for conserving energy, especially for the heating and cooling system. Okay, so what are the suggestion outline energy conservation technique for this one is you need to make sure that windows and doors are sealed properly. For example, you are using the air conditioning, but you do not close the door or the window. So this will affect your conservation of the what we call energy. Okay. Number 2, use reclaim heat where possible, such as produced by office equipment. So this is more to the overseas because they have the winter weather compared to us in Malaysia. So we do not have this kind of heating system. Okay. And then adjust the temperature of work areas when they are not being used. Okay. Whether you switch off or you reduce the temperature where the people do not use that area. Okay. And then reduce ventilation during non-working hours. And the next one, you need to consider the installation of automatic control device that assure the efficient utilization of energy. And lastly, you need to make sure the heating and cooling equipment is properly maintained to ensure proper functioning. Okay, so for us in Malaysia, we only have the cooling equipment, which is the air conditioner. Okay, and compared to the people who have the winter weather, okay, they need to use the heating system. Okay, so make sure both equipment are properly maintained. And next one, okay, techniques for conserving energy is for other conservation measure. So what are the suggestion is you need to install an adequate amount of insulation. Okay, and then you incorporate energy conservation devices and techniques, including solar devices when designing new building. So for example, right now you at MCT, we are conserving the energy by using the solar. So you can see that there's a car park with the solar system. Okay, and then purchase equipment that has a high energy efficiency level. The next one, you need as top management, as AOM also, you need to encourage employee to conserve energy whenever or wherever they can. And lastly, you need to encourage employee to adjust their attire to compensate to warmer work area temperature in the summer and cooler work area temperature in the winter. Okay, so in other words, you need to wear properly according to the weather. Okay. Now, the last part is the office security. So, how you are going to apply your office security? The first one, we have two. The first one, in office security, we need to have a protection of the organization's physical property. The second one is we need to have the protection of the organization's vital information. So, protection for organization's physical property, for example, is the equipment in your office, the machines as well as the furniture. However, the protection of organization vital information, for example, is the data and records in your organization. So, for office security, you need to make sure the protection of these both, the physical property and the vital information. Okay. So, how you are going to make sure to protect this, what we call the vital information? The first one, you need to limiting access to vital areas, such as you are using the restrict access for people to get the access to that vital information. Okay. Next is photo IDs. Okay. The push button lock or the cut lock system. The second one is fingerprint an eye-oriented system. Okay, yes, we familiar with the fingerprint and eye-oriented system. You can, when you watch a movie, they are using this kind of system, and then you are using proximity card. Okay, so the proximity card, proximity in other what we call a space. Okay, how long? Okay, proximity allow card holder access to a secure area, and then you use the automatic light control system, for example, that a light control system that can read the body heat sensor. And you also need to use the sound alarm system, and then yes, we are going to use the security guard, and lastly you need to use password to access any vital information data. So this are how we are going to limit access to vital areas. So we are using this kind of what we call system or a technique to restrict, to make sure the restriction of the area. Okay, so that's it for now for chapter 5. Okay, so this is our main additional main reference and the additional reference. Okay, so that's it for now for chapter 5. Thank you so much, and see you again in chapter 6. Assalamualaikum.